Welcome back. You're still watching Perspective, and we're still talking to Rainer Häufer from the Center for Indonesian Policy Studies. I got it right.
You got it. Wonderful. Thank you.
When you operate an organization, whatever the organization is, you have manpower, first of all. You have the co-founder, 2 persons, and then what else?
We are the co-founders. We have one person we have the researchers. At the moment, they are associate researchers. They're not staff.
Yeah, okay.
And then we have a person in charge of communications, and we have a person in charge of fundraising, who will help us, of course, to bring in the funds that we need for the operations. That's right. But there is an additional element that is particularly important to us. We are trying to be an open organization. That means we are bringing in interested people to join us in our projects. We want to be conducting what's called social research. That means if people have an interesting example, and I may use the opportunity of speaking here as well to call on people.
Address them.
If you have interesting cases, if you have those projects that we mentioned earlier, where you think this policy does harm, it's got to be adjusted in a practical manner, come to us, tell us about it. We are interested in these kind of projects to do. We are also taking in volunteers who can help us when it comes to surveys. Right now we're interviewing migrant workers about those training programs. What's your experience? We need help. We also need researchers to join us. We have universities in Indonesia that now increasingly teach public policy. Universitas Pajajaran in Bandung, or many others also have started public policy classes. Those students are welcome to join us for an internship or volunteering, or maybe as in a cooperation project. Because these are the voices that we need in our social research that we want to do.
And do you think you can get, I don't know, I'm speaking from experience, for example, do you think you can get access to that pool of, it must be skilled, it must be something that has been trained, no?
There's a certain lack of these skills in the country. It has been addressed now. Also, some funders from abroad have addressed it and say we need to develop this kind of think tank business in the country, policy advice business in the country. There is a good development at the moment, but some of them are partisan. Some of them support individual politicians or a party. We are strictly non-partisan. That's important to us. And some of them are also slightly more hierarchical. We try to be really open. So far, anybody who wrote to us was asked to join us, to help us in the research. We're open to people to come and work with us on this. There are many young people who are interested, skilled, and able to work on these projects. Quite sure we can help them, train them. We will organize classes, how to write policy proposals.
This is what I'm interested in. So you do train us.
We will provide classes on how to write a policy proposal. You don't start writing 50 pages about the history.
Can I join? You don't. Sorry, I just got you. You don't write about 50 pages history.
History of the problem, which an academic paper might do. We are talking about productivity problems maybe in the country. We're not talking about the history of productivity in Indonesia. We'd start with a solution. Then in an executive summary, then we describe the background shortly, and then we come up with the explanation.
To the point.
To the point. And to the point means the first point is what the politician reads. The other points are read by his staff.
This is also interesting. I mean, do you teach them on how this politician decision-maker language is like?
Absolutely. We have to, because and there's a certain.
I'll join too.
You're welcome as a volunteer. Can't afford you as a volunteer. No, seriously, we need to make people understand that politicians are not just taking advantage of the people. There are many of them who really intend to do something good for the country. They need ammunition. They need certain things, but if they only get academic papers, which is good, but it doesn't really help. So that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to teach this to interested and young people, mostly, who can acquire this kind of skill.
How many subject or how many program, let's say, would you take at any one point?
Depends on our staff. At the beginning now, we can run a maximum of 3 projects at the same time.
And how long do they usually last?
4 to 5 months.
Months?
Depending
Not
on...
even years?
No, no. As I said, it's not an academic paper.
Right.
We're not going to sit in libraries much. We talk to decision makers. We talk to the actually affected people. And we look at international experience. We have a wide network. We have a wide network of think tanks in the world that we can access. For the property rights studies, I was able to write to my friends in Peru, in Niger, in Australia, New Zealand. They give examples. They are willing to cooperate.
Right.
Once we have that, we distill the essence and we'll see what works for Indonesia, and then we make our suggestion. 4 to 5 months should be enough to come up with a paper that is about 10 pages long maximum.
Right. So far, you haven't finished any of those?
No, we are in the process of finishing 2, but not yet.
What I'm interested is in your based on your experience, for example, how is usually reception? You say that politicians are actually open to advice?
Yes, I'm quite confident about that. I've spoken to many politicians in Indonesia, and those that really intend to work for their country, they really don't mind getting good ideas on how to do it. They come to join meetings, they sit for hours, even though they have a very busy schedule, if they expect there's something coming out of this that they can use for their work. So as long as we have hands-on practical advice, we can do that. Migrant workers case, we're going to advise something on the training program, not on the entire system of specific recommendations that decision makers can handle.
Okay, thank you very much for your insight. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed the discussion. So it was Rainer Heufer from the Center for Indonesian Policy Studies, and like he says, if you're interested to join or if you have projects, feel free.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And see you in the next program. Bye-bye.